Welcome back to Israel News and Views. I'm Ron Canner, and I'm joined by my good friend Chris Mitchell, who works for CBN News, and he lives right here in Jerusalem. He's guest hosting for Wayne Hillsden, who is in the Far East ministering the good news of Yeshua, the Messiah. I want to read directly, Chris, from the Jerusalem Post the other day. This is pretty, it's scary. And, you know, we have talked about the war in Gaza for the past couple weeks, and how much we feel for the average Palestinian who lives there. Most of them aren't terrorists. Most of them don't want to be shooting rockets. They want to earn a living. They want to take care of their kids, send them to school. But it says right here in the Jerusalem Post, Nuaf Attar, a Palestinian from Gaza, spoke about the use of Gazan schools to shoot rockets at Israel. Zabhi Attar revealed that Hamas used food coupons to entice Palestinians to join its ranks, and Hamad Zala said Hamas took control of the United Nations UN RWA food supplies transferred to Gaza and refused to distribute them to the people affiliated with the Palestinian Authority. Those are some of the minor abuses that took place. Israel's been accused all over the world of just doing the most horrible things in Gaza, and yet it appears that Hamas has literally taken a ethnic group captive.
Yeah, exactly. And I think this is probably one of the untold stories of the Gaza war, or little told story, of the atrocities that Hamas has committed against its own people. I mean, you mentioned these, but there's others that are out there of shooting Fatah, their rival faction, shooting them in the knees, or executing them, executing collaborators with Israel.
Right. Well, it says right here that Palestinians who oppose, and these are from the confessions of people, these aren't things we made up. Palestinians who opposed Hamas's use of their land and homes as launching pads for Qassam rockets were shot in the legs by Hamas terrorists.
Exactly. I think what I felt during the Gaza war, and many times we went down right on the border. They weren't allowing the foreign press to get inside of Gaza for most of the war, but we were allowed to be right on the border. And most of the coverage seemed to imply that Israel is committing war crimes, that they're killing civilians wantonly. But from my perspective, from what I had seen and heard, that they were doing everything they could to avoid that. They were actually calling people on their cell phones or text messaging people within Gaza to get away from Hamas facilities, to get away from combat areas, and yet the onus of the war seems to be that Israel was the one committing war crimes and not Hamas.
Right, and let me just read you a couple more things here. One fellow told Israeli troops after the war was over that Hamas government officials took over humanitarian aid that Israel was allowing into the Strip every day for about 2 or 3 hours. Israel would stop fighting, and they would allow humanitarian aid go into the area to their enemies. Well, Hamas, according to this fellow, would steal the humanitarian aid, and then they would sell it to the people. The free aid, they would sell it to the people. It says also that these eyewitness testimony from Palestinians in Gaza that they would be sending rockets into Israel from school compounds, from kindergartens, from hospitals. And one more thing, it says that this another fellow said that he told the Shin Bet, that's our Israeli Secret Service, about a large bunker that was built under the Shifa Hospital. I believe that's the largest hospital in Gaza. The Shifa Hospital in Gaza City, and was used as a hideout for a number of senior Hamas operatives during the recent Israeli offensives. So the Hamas guys were hiding underground rather than being out there with the people, number one. Number two, they're hiding under a hospital. They're almost just daring Israel to come after them because they know there's going to be a great humanitarian crisis. Israel knows where they are. But we say, what are we going to do? We're not going to bomb a hospital.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's the dilemma is on Israel, and this idea of human shields is something that was woven through the whole Gaza war. Whether it's schools or hospitals or residential areas.
Okay, you're a reporter. You work for CBN News. Why do you think that these stories aren't being reported around the world? And I know you guys are covering it, certainly the Jerusalem Post covers it, but you rarely find these things in European newspapers, certainly not in other Middle Eastern countries. We're the only Jewish nation in the Middle East. Why do you think that is?
I think the phenomenon goes back years. I think that, for one, sometimes if journalists report on these facts, in these areas, they put their own lives in danger.
Right.
And they might put the lives of the people they're reporting on danger. I think the other thing is that they might fail to get access if they report on these things.
So there's intimidation. They say,
exactly.
if you don't write favorable stuff about
Right.
us, we're not going to talk to you anymore.
Exactly. And that happened, I think, in the 2006 war in Lebanon, where the media, the Western media, was sort of shepherded by Hezbollah operatives of what they could report on, what they couldn't report on. And so that the Hamas, I would say, and Hezbollah are masters in many ways of manipulating the media.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, terrorism in and of itself is a master